Oh boy, Sora, OpenAI's text-to-video model, has leaked. I'm going to tell you everything that we know so far, and I'm going to show you some of the new video examples that we have. Let's get into it. So I first saw the leak by our channel's friend Chubby, and he said OpenAI Sora has been leaked, and Legit Rumors was the first to find this as far as he can tell. So he screenshotted the note that the leakers released with the leak, and he also linked to this Hugging Face repo called PR Puppet Sora. Now, before I get into it, let me just go back and explain what Sora is. If you watch this channel, I'm sure you already know, but just a quick overview. Back in February, we had this creating text to video post and a new model from OpenAI. It was the first time that we saw anything with text to video at this quality. Consistent elements, physics. There was a lot of speculation that this might be a world simulator, and there was just so much excitement around it. And then nearly a year later, we still don't have the model. They've been giving private access to a bunch of artists to collect feedback, and I'll tell you why that point is important in a minute. So just as a reminder, this is kind of the famous video, a lady walking down the street in Japan. We have woolly mammoths running in the snow. We have this spaceman. Just everything looked so good, so realistic, and we really hadn't seen anything like this before. Now, obviously, we have some open source text to video models today that are similar, but still not quite the same quality. And here's the important point from the blog post. Today, Sora is becoming available to red teamers to assess critical areas for harms or risk. We are granting access to a number of visual artists, designers, and filmmakers to gain feedback on how to advance the model to be most helpful for creative professionals. Now, that has come to bite them in the butt. Let me show you what the leak included. So this is PR Puppet Sora, and right at the top it says, after 3 hours, OpenAI shut down Sora's early access temporarily for all artists. Now, unfortunately, none of this stuff works anymore, but it looks like it did, at least for a few hours. Also, if you scroll down on the page, it says here, video generated while the tool was up. And unfortunately, I think these videos were taken down as well. I have some I found on Twitter that people downloaded before it was taken down, so I'll show you some of those in a moment. But the interesting part, why did this leak happen? Now, if we click right here, it says open letter, why are we doing this? Now, this looks like a manifesto. This looks like what Anonymous, the hacking group, might release, but here we are. Dear corporate AI overlords, very ominous. We received access to Sora with the promise to be early testers, red teamers, and creative partners. However, we believe instead we are being lured into art washing to tell the world that Sora is a useful tool for artists. Now, art washing is an interesting term. I had to think about what that meant for a minute, but basically what I believe they're saying is OpenAI is trying to convince the world that Sora is another tool for artists to create, where what they're seeing is Sora is actually taking artists' work and is able to then essentially replace artists in the future. And they're not paying the artists, and let me keep going, you'll see more. Artists are not your unpaid R&D. We are not your free bug testers, PR puppets, training data, validation tokens. Wow. Hundreds of artists provide unpaid labor through bug testing, feedback, and experimental work for the program for a $150 billion valued company. While hundreds contribute for free, a select few will be chosen through a competition to have their Sora-created films screened, offering minimal compensation which pales in comparison to the substantial PR and marketing value OpenAI receives. I kind of agree with a lot of this. This goes back to the question of, should content creators get paid for their work if the model is trained on that data? And I know a lot of you watching this channel disagree with my take on this. I think artists should get paid, and at the very least should have the option to give their work for training or not to give their work for training. Even if they're not getting paid, then they just don't give their work. Now, the counter argument to that is, well, if a person is browsing the web, they see a piece of content, they're learning from it, and it's essentially the same process with a large language model, or in this case, a video model, but that's not quite true in my mind. These are non-human entities that are ingesting so much data and then are able to, in a lot of cases, replicate exactly what has been created by the original artists, and the artists are not getting paid at all. This entity is not free and open source. Specifically, Sora is owned by a $150 billion valuation company. Now, Sora is not the first model to go through something like this. If you remember back when Midjourney V6 came out, a lot of people were able to to recreate shot-for-shot images that matched Marvel movies and other IP. And you know they did not get permission to take the IP from Disney. So here's an example. Mona Lisa, here's the Mona Lisa. And here's a still from the movie Joker, and here it is created in Mid-Journey. And here are a few other examples of very popular IP that can be replicated using Mid-Journey. Now, a lot of you think like this person Mike thinks, midway take, this is protected by fair use. I'm not going to get too deep into that argument. I tend to be more on the side of artists should at least have the option to give their work or not give their work. Now back to the post with the leak. Denormalize billion-dollar brands exploiting artists for unpaid R&D and PR. Furthermore, every output needs to be approved by the OpenAI team before sharing. This early access program appears to be less about creative expression and critique and more about PR and advertisement. Corporate art washing detected. We are releasing this tool to give everyone an opportunity to experiment with what 300 artists were offered, a free and unlimited access to this tool. We are not against the use of AI technology as a tool for the arts. If we were, we probably wouldn't have been invited to this program. What we don't agree with is how this artist program has been rolled out and how the tool is shaping up ahead of the possible public release. Now, we still have no notion of when Sora is going to be released publicly. This might have pushed them to move forward the release date. We are sharing this to the world in the hopes that OpenAI becomes more open, more artist-friendly, and supports the arts beyond PR stunts. We call on artists to make use of tools beyond the proprietary. Open source video generation tools allow artists to experiment with the avant-garde free from gatekeeping, commercial interests, or serving as PR to any corporation. We also invite artists to train their own models with their own data sets. That's a really cool idea. And then some open source video tools are Cog Video X, Mochi One, LTX Video, Pyramid Flow. I think the only one I hadn't heard of is Pyramid Flow, so maybe I need to give that a try. However, as we are aware, not everyone has the hardware or technical capability to run open source tools and models. We welcome tool makers to listen to and provide a path to true artist expression with fair compensation to the artist. Enjoy. Some Sora alpha testers, and then they list some names here. And yeah, look at that. So Borg Maximalist on Twitter says, settle for nothing less than decentralized AI. That was 7 minutes ago, and he reposted that message. So it looks like they are not being anonymous. They are actually saying who they are. So here is the famous spaghetti eating video. And obviously it's still a little bit off, but this is apparently a Sora leaked video. Here we have a cartoon, semi-cel shaded video. Looks amazing. Look at the consistency of the trees and the movement behind the character. I mean, it's really, really impressive. And here's another version of that famous woman walking down the neon street, and it looks phenomenal. Look how her dress is moving. Look at the hands. They really do look flawless. And then when she finally looks up, a little bit of creepiness with the completely black eyes, but overall looks really good. And here's another one. Guy walking in the forest, some incredible looking portal thing that he's walking into. And you can see the OpenAI Sora kind of logo or overlay right there, watermark that is. And it looks like OpenAI is trying to quell the leak as much as possible. So Chubby says, OpenAI tries to contain Sora's leak, but they can't. The damage is done. What a day. Sora is really leaked. And here we go. In the OpenAI Discord, you have been muted. Reason Sora leak topic. So they don't even want anybody talking about it right now. All right, here's another one, basically Coca-Cola commercial, kind of a famous one, polar bear with a can of Coke. Looks fantastic. And another one, the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Bunch of tourists looking around. It's raining. Really, really nice. And let's go through some more. Here's a fire at what looks to be an office building or a factory. The fire looks pretty good. The smoke looks incredible. The factory just looks a little bit off. Some of the angles, some of the shadows, the reflections, they look a little off, but overall incredible. Here's another one, anime girl walking down the street. Really nice. Very, very cool. Yeah, I love it. It looks so cool. Here's another one, teddy bear, balloons all around. Feel like this is something we've seen before, but maybe not. And even more, we have a city cars going by. So if you look at this white car right there, you can kind of see it transforms into a different lane. So some issues. And with these books, we see some flashing. Here are 2 pencils. Let me go back for a second. So you could see right there, there's kind of 2 pencils, 1 main pencil, 1 weird second pencil right there, but everything looks really good. And here's a picture of a galaxy spinning. Very cool, very dizzying. And here's one cat riding a balloon. Weird angle, but it still looks good. Kind of a fisheye lens. Yeah, the cat looks good. And here's one that people are saying is the absolute best in terms of quality. I mean, the bird's movement, the feathering, the eyes, everything. It is flawless. If I saw this online and I did not know it was AI generated, I would not be able to tell the difference. This is by far the best one, I agree. And so a couple other notes from this leak. We have some information on the payload sent to the model to get the actual generations. So you can say the number of frames, you can have the number of variants. Obviously you have the prompt, video gen as the type, height and width of the video, style, so you can include a style, which is kind of cool, in-paint items, and model turbo, which means there is a fast generation version of Sora. So here's an example payload. I mean, really everything seems to have been leaked. All right, we have another example. We have 2 puppies playing, and this one does not look good. The puppies are transforming mid-jump, very awkward. You could see they go from head to tail. Ready? And there it is. Very weird looking, but fun. And here is a girl playing with a can of Coke. So looks cool, a little awkward, but looks cool. And here we go, another one, somebody writing a book with a fire in front of them. The light reflections on the face look decent, not great. The rest of the room should be lit up a little bit differently. Here's another one from the leak, a woman kind of dancing around, moving, posing for the camera. We have some weird lettering over here. It doesn't look like any language I'm familiar with, maybe a little Russian, but I'm not sure. And yeah, looks really good. Very consistent movements. The hair looks good. Too bad we can't see the hands. And here's another one. It's a pirate cat transforming, riding what looks to be like a Roomba or something, jumping around. And here is a monkey playing with what looks to be kind of a puzzle or a Rubik's Cube type thing. So thank you to Cole for posting a lot of these examples. Really appreciate it, Cole. I'm gonna go ahead and follow you right now. So yeah, that's all we know so far. I'll do another update if we find out more information, but Sora looks to be leaked. And I wonder if somebody grabbed the actual raw model. I'm not sure about that yet. I think probably not, because that is hosted at Hugging Face and probably behind an API, but maybe we'll find out. Do you think those artists were right to leak Sora? And obviously it wasn't going to be leaked for long if it's behind a Hugging Face page. Now, if somebody leaked the weights, which I don't think they did, everybody would have it already, and you just need to figure out how to run it. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. I think it's cool. We got some more information finally. I think it actually will push up the release date of Sora, give a little bit of pressure to OpenAI. I kind of agree with some of the takes that the artist made, but I also am trying to understand the free use argument from the other side. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.